Steve is involved in so many good projects here in the city of Sheboygan and in Sheboygan County. And one of those projects that he worked on, and he's still working, I think, on it, is the Children's Museum here in town. That's where I got to know Steve Schmitt. And I have the utmost respect for everything that he's given to this community. And one of the things that we have in common is we're both natives of Sheboygan County and lifelong residents. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Steve Schmitt.
Yes, I'm Stephen Schmitt, president of Joe Schmitt Construction Company, a 126-year-old general contracting firm. I represent the fourth generation, lifelong resident of Sheboygan Falls, actually, and the class of 1975 graduate of Sheboygan Falls. I like to get stuff done. I have another word that I put in there for things, but I'd like to make things happen in our community. I helped out Darryl when he founded the Above and Beyond Children's Museum and helped build that thing. And just recently, the County Chamber received the Tourism Gem of the Year award. Also got involved with, we know that we have child care issues in Sheboygan County here. I helped out with A Million Dreams and actually helped them build the building. They're debt-free now. I was able to help with the director secure a $1 million gift to make them debt-free. They own their building, paid for all their improvements. We actually took a building in exchange and developed that on the old Superior and 29th Street location my brother and I did. So we like to get things done. We also, down the street here, one of our first projects that we did about 10 years ago, it's 10 years that it's been open, is the Founders Club. Sheboygan County had the issue with, they were bringing in Kohler Company, Osthoff Resort, down at, more of the housing that was needed for the hospitality industry. It couldn't house people. So we had a project that was really started with our church, St. Luke's, with the Sheboygan Retirement Home. We built that originally. It was one of my father's legacy projects. We wanted to see that used. And we have pop up that photo. It's a 107,000 square foot building, a 6-story and 4-story building. We house, we have 270 beds in the building, 142 rooms, and we help out the interns, co-ops, J1s, and H2Bs that are coming here to work, which they, before, had difficulty finding places to live. We provide a dorm-style living. We have a 25-seat theater in there. We have a fitness center. We have a game room. We're 3 blocks away from Lake Michigan. People have made, it's kind of a dorm-style living that have made these people really enjoy Sheboygan. And a lot of them have been hired here and joined our community. But it's kind of like, we've been my brother's the art resident director. I'm the RA, if you can relate to that. So I check the people out, go through their checklist, make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. My brother is the resident director, trying to get them into their room and trying to play kind of matchmaker to get them involved with other corporations, the same corporations, that they can maybe shuttle, go out to work together and things like that, and develop some nice relationships over that. But it's kind of dealing with what you're dealing with. You have to deal with these people on a daily basis. A lot of people nowadays need more hand-holding. There's more hand-holding in our society, I guess, to make sure that they're doing the right things. And that's what I appreciate what Kristen's doing up in Green Bay. I've also been spending some time with that lady over there, Liz Brawl, that I helped her. We were at another conference or something like that, how many years ago, that we had when we were talking about food and feeding people. Well, she was kind of at the time, was it really called the Sheboygan County Food Bank or not?
Yeah.
It was, but it was operating out of a garage, a parking lot, and some other things that we kind of discussed that, well, I'm now involved, and I got another friend to get me involved with organizations, which I like to do. and which was the Humane Society. Well, we were able to secure a building, a 62,000 square foot building from Mark Nepshaw for $50,000, which was about $1.5 million building, and sold a couple dust collectors for $25,000, so my net was $25,000. I was able to move 2 nonprofit organizations which didn't really have a home, or wouldn't have a home, but has outgrown that. So we were able to get the food bank in there, they've grown into the space, and then making Spirits Bright, which is a Rotary clubs to help feed the hungry. And we've done a good job of that. With the other thing with A Million Dreams, I've helped with that, with helping the situation with daycare facility, childcare, and making it affordable childcare. That's a problem that we have, but I know that my politician has helped us with too. So we're trying to do good things. I'm totally involved in the community. And the next thing was trying to get the rest of the housing. Being downtown, we had the people that are homeless, that are in our community. It's sad to see those people in our downtown streets. We had them at a building above and beyond Children's Museum. Dick Bemis built a little, it used to be Charlie's Market, a little store there. There's people sleeping in that overnight. There was people in the back of our building, our kids owned what used to be the Holman building, which is next to you. That we had, our kids own that building right next to the Wild Center. But it's just trying to do this. We're trying to do our part. And that's where I kind of talked to Daryl back here a few months back, and then he got excited, because he gets excited about stuff, and does this session, talk to Crystal, and got her to show what other people do. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have other people out there that have done this, been successful. It's taken you 30-some years to do this. You crawl, walk, and or hopefully jogging, not necessarily running, to make things happen. So we're going to learn by that and kind of move forward with those things. We got it with the homeless shelter. I'm going to throw up my other drawing on that. I'm trying to, I know some people I talk to that have time commitments, so I'm trying to be respectful of that. Yep, pull up the lorries there. There we go. So my brother and I, Joe Schmitt we kind of came up with the Sheboygan County had Sunny Ridge. If everybody remembers Sunny Ridge, our dad, it was another legacy project of my father. He built the back building, the 6-story building back there. Organization from Minnesota that bought the nursing home didn't want the back building, so we kind of pushed the county to say, why don't you do an RFP, we'll apply for it. We did that. We were able to buy that back building, which we worked with another Minnesota firm that turned it into a senior housing, or apartment housing for people, to get people that were trying to move out of their homes, but didn't need all the maintenance and things like that. So we're able to do that. That's running, and I think has 30-some units in that building. But we were able to get 2 outlots, or 3 outlots. There's 6.2 acres on the back side and 2 lots up front. Well, one of those lots I'm looking to help, next page. We're trying to work with the warming center to create more space. It's difficult, but St. Luke's has been very generous with what they've been doing with providing the space at the church, with the fellowship hall, which is our church, and we have plans to try to modify it, but it's better to do a freestanding building. So we kind of came up with this concept to be able to have potentially 100 beds, to be able to serve people, to be able to help with these people to get them back on their feet. Some of those people do have dependencies that we need to work with. We have a lot of behavioral health organizations that we hope that can join us to do that. We have the county that can help us with that. I have one of my daughters, or was person that lives in Falls, I actually went on spring break with them this past year, and we talked about what we can do to try to take care of the housing situation and more of the homeless. So we have this kind of plan. This is a concept that we're working with the board at the Sheboygan County Warming Center, and trying to create a full kitchen we'll be able to produce the meals for them, a place to be able to house both the men and the women that are here. Don't know what we want to do with families, because there are a lot of those, and that's what really Salvation Army is helping to do. Sheboygan County has a lot of wonderful nonprofit organizations. We kind of have Love Inc., which is a group of churches in Sheboygan County that have come together to help. Maybe some of these things, they kind of grow a little bit more to that. And trying to do some things. I got this Abraham guy over here, I met him, and with more of the Hispanic community. He's been doing a wonderful job trying to get people that are coming here to Wisconsin, to the United States, and trying to make sure that they do the proper paperwork in order to do that, but they need some transitional housing, and they need to get placed in jobs. I do a lot of work for a lot of these Sheboygan County companies, the Kohler companies, the Johnson Mills, the Kohler, or the Masters Gallery, Sargento. We have world headquarters here, and these people need good employees. I want to try to do that. He's been trying to place that. We have kind of another co-living situation. I have architects. I got Bob Heimel in the room. He's been throwing stuff out to me. Steve, we need help. I got all these people that want to help, and I'm trying to circle the troops here and trying to make positive things happen. Bob has a concept, so this is kind of, I don't know if you have any questions, but this is what I'm trying to work on and get done, because I'd like to get stuff done and do it quicker than later. I'm going to throw my, I'm sorry, throw my co-living, So you got Bob Heimel here in the back. And Bob had a concept. Bob, can you stand up and tell me your concept? Sort of put you on the spot, Bob.
Dane Chekowinski, when he was the head of the SEDC, asked if I wanted to join him at our Sheboygan booth at a conference in Chicago. There was a commercial real estate conference. And I met a guy, Bill Keith, Quarters company. Talked to him for at least an hour. He does co-living, which is a different way of living, and he's very passionate about it. And his company only does it in super big cities like New York, Chicago, Houston. He didn't think he'd probably ever come to Wisconsin. That's I think it's the low-hanging fruit that they were looking for. It's just a no-brainer in New York City. He actually came to tears a little bit. He's so passionate about the concept of co-living because people who live in New York are isolated in their one-bedroom apartment. And the co-living concept gives you a smaller unit, very small unit, but then you share the kitchens and dining rooms and
all the amenities.
All the amenities in the building. Better.
Similar to our Founders Club, where we have kitchens on every floor, we have like 11 kitchens, and we have other support areas.
Right, but he just said their life is better, in that concept. Especially the younger people, like in Sheboygan, that can't afford rent. I just felt like we could create a smaller version of that concept here to help fill that void for young people who can't afford to move out of my house.
Well, they're staying there because they're still insured up to 27 years old. And we're trying to do that. But this is something too that, and we have people that are coming in that, that is affordable. I'm looking to do this as another nonprofit organization, so we're not paying real estate tax. Sorry if there's anybody here from the city.
Just to finish quick,
yeah, go ahead.
My idea was how can we create construction that costs less so the rent can be less? And find a way to do it without subsidies, just a real low-cost version of housing so the rent can be lower.
I'm looking at $300 to $600 a month.
Right.
Includes everything. So that's, I have some, but I did spend time, you got to talk to other people in the room here. So that's what, so I'm enlisting other help, trying to do that. Looking for sites that this could be done. This could be multiple buildings across the county here and things. Bob keeps on looking at other opportunities, maybe in Howard's Grove and other communities that we have. So it's trying to figure this out, trying to get the behavioral health side of things, getting people back on their feet some. We're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. But, trying to get it so I have affordable daycare, so these people, this young woman that has 3 or 4 kids. I also have another friend in the audience here that has to leave soon, Laura Burcham, who was my executive director over at the Humane Society. Also, she had worked at Safe Harbor, so she has experience with that. She has a concept. I agreed to be vice president of her new board, new 501c3. You want to explain what you're trying to do?
Sure. So basically my history, having worked at Safe Harbor, which is our sexual assault domestic violence shelter, it is an emergency shelter. And because of the lack of transitional housing, it has become a long-term solution for people. And for lack of better words, it's terrible to watch, right? You have people who are going through the worst moments of their lives, and they are stuck. There's one kitchen for 20 plus people. There's 3 bathrooms. Like, you're stuck in this place. And I think 10 years ago, I started my entertainment houses, like probably 10 years ago. And I got to know Steve actually when he was working at Connor's Club, because remember, we were remodeling and we were talking about Safe Harbor, maybe trying to accommodate some of the space. And so I ended up working at the Humane Society. I was blessed to be able to stay home with my baby for a couple of years, the last couple of years, but that has afforded me way too much time to think about our situation in this community and the lack of transitional housing. And if you're any sort of Facebook person, you're seeing this. All you constantly see is we have a homelessness problem, we have short-term shelters, we have short-term solutions. The warming shelter is stepped up huge. I mean, it's insane what they're doing, but it's not a long-term solution. And our apartments, for anyone who's going to get the financial aid or an apartment set up for them, is
well, was the new one that again Bob designed. They just had an open house. I think started at $850 or something like that a month, and up to $1,800 or something like that a month. That's still not affordable. I guess I'm sorry.
It's not realistic. I mean, when you have people who are homeless, they're in a situation where they're stuck, right? As a single mom with kids, I can't put myself in daycare, so I can't get a job. But I'm supposed to get an apartment and have all these things going on. So trying to find.
Can you hear all?
Yeah. But you keep hearing about new apartments, but it's just like
they're like 90 to 95% built.
Still, yeah. It's people coming into the community. Okay. We had an apartment deficiency. Okay. Now we're going, because I was involved with the Sheboygan County Economic Development Corp. So we had a study done. We showed that there was a lack of that. We're trying to infill the other things.
The problem with these apartments, right? So I'm a single mom of 2 kids, right? And I have a job and I'm barely just getting by. I'm going to pay $1,000 a month for an apartment. I'm going to struggle with food. I'm going to rely on food banks. I'm going to rely on all this, but I'm going to barely just make it. One car breakdown puts me, boom, I'm out of this place. I'm going to get evicted now. I have an eviction on my record. How am I going? It's about long-term sustainability, right? And that's what we're looking towards is a 1 to 3 year program that people can get into transitional housing and take a breath, right? Very similar to what you're doing. The problem is we don't want to take 20, 30 years buying one house at a time because the problem is here and now, and we have to figure out how we're going to fix this. So the concept of the tiny home living is very similar to we're going to try to put as many people in a small area as we can, but with dignified living and wraparound services. So we're getting them, the help that they need, help going to doctor's appointments or whatever that is, because you people who it's hard to put yourself in their shoes because we've had stability in our lives, right? When you don't have stability, it's hard to understand it's so overwhelming, all the services that are out there, all the things. That's why case management is so important. And help people understand how to function within the normality of maintaining housing and employment and the long-term stability that they need in their lives. And so it's really how can we do that in a way that allows people to take a breath for a minute, that we're not seeing them in 5 years back into a homeless situation. Does that make sense?
Well, and Joe was the interim director of the Sheboygan County Economic Development Corporation and kind of worked on that study. Also, we have in Sheboygan Falls that the last president was able to get 5 people together. Some corporations raised $8 million to put up about 100 some homes that are somewhat affordable, but to be able first-time buyers that they have incentives to be able to do that, but it's all the little things. Because right now, you had people that couldn't find a home in Sheboygan County, so they'd go down to Ozaki, Port Washington, and then they find out they're working here, but they're traveling. Well, then they get, oh, do we want to travel every day like this? Why don't I get a job down here? So you're losing people that way. So those are the things, all the hot spots in our area, because our companies are still looking to employ more people. And how can we make those, and one of the stumbling block was providing affordable childcare. These people, if it's a single mother, single parent trying to find childcare facilities to be able to accommodate that. And that's what we're trying to do. So. And then with Abraham too, he's been involved with the Superior Manor, which helps out a lot of people, more so people that have been, maybe you can explain a little bit with that.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of veterans, and we usually afford floor each week for homeless people, and we have right now working people.
This was the old St. Nicholas Hospital, the Superior Avenue backside. I don't know if any of you were born at St. Nicholas. The older group here. But currently you've been able to expand and move up another floor, and you're accommodating how many people there, right?
Well, we are working, we have over 240 units, and only 60% is used right now, so we are expanding. We're working on that. So.
Yeah, and then Abraham's in if you were a little schoolhouse right off of the Michigan there in the block.
Delaware Schoolhouse.
Delaware Schoolhouse, yes.
Yeah.
So he has his organization running out of that and does a wonderful job. I owe him a playground yet. I gotta get that to him to do that. So it's just, I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of people that help me get things done. And I want to continue doing this. That's where this guy kind of set this up, but we got to start with something like this and start to get the foundations. We have a lot of local foundations. We have a lot of businesses that we can help. We do have the churches that kind of with Love Inc. that helps with a lot of those, balancing the budget, all those other things, and then also with furniture, they'll supply furniture. I got a basement full of furniture that I have a guy that wants to donate all the reupholstery of the chairs, love seats, and couches that people need when they're moving into a home and stuff like that. So it's all there, and that's what I see what being involved in when I can't say no. My mother told me not to, never taught me how to say no, I guess. So I do all this stuff, and I think I do a pretty good job at it, trying to help out these things. So. Thank you, Liz. But that's what I think you wanted me to kind of say today. I want to try to keep with our time because it was 10 to 12, and you did a wonderful job with your presentation. I don't know if you have any questions or what we're trying to do and what you can do to help.
You actually own that Lakeland property?
That was what we had actually looked at. The city, we kind of, you had looked at it for a site because you were working with the city. They decided to go elsewhere for that site. We have some interesting things going on right now in the city. I don't want to go into detail of that, but we got to bring it back to getting local people doing development projects and trying to do that. So that was one site. I threw it on another site, another church site that had some land. I want to get people excited about that. There's other parcels around that we could do this. I gotta see, it'd be nice, and like what I'm trying to do with the warming center, we own the land, I can give you the land. Okay, let's build this, I'll go and raise the money and get this built. And operate it and try to design it efficiently so you have a low overhead cost and that on the property. So that's what I gotta do next week. I'm sorry for the early, you're the first ones to see this. So don't share it. So it's just, hopefully we're going in the right direction. Hopefully I see some nodding heads and yes, this makes sense, and that you do this. Because there's businesses that just, they can't do it alone. So we're trying to help them put these projects out there for them. Yeah.
So is there a person or a small group identified to help sort of, you know, there's visions of what needs to happen?
Speak Schmitt.
But who actually says, yeah.
And I'm kind of a visionary person, so I'm gonna, I'd like to get a, you know, Abraham can probably run this, our co-living space. Okay, he could have a couple floors that he's bringing in Hispanic community, or people into this area. It might be families, might be individuals, couples, whatever, that could take the housing and organize that. There's a church that maybe has the land that we could have them be kind enough, either we do a ground lease or something like that that's affordable for them to do that. We go out and raise the money, but I can't operate all these organizations. I'd like to get someone, a nonprofit organization, to take over the Founders Club. We've had that for 10 years, and I'm 69, my brother's 67. I want to slow down a little bit, so I might want to set up the things like, yes.
And if you're a nonprofit wanting to get involved in this, how would you go about doing it?
You got my card in the back. Yeah, call me. I've been a good project matchmaker. I'm a matchmaker, and it takes people with the experience of doing this for 50-some years in our community, you know, and a Sheboygan Falls graduate, you know, we do things right, you know, and that's what we want to do. So again, any other question? Otherwise, I know we were kind of booked for 10 to 12. It's 12 noon now. I've got to go back to my wife soon. So, but if you have any questions, take some of the information. Take my card. Shoot me an email so that you're one of the people here, and let me know what you can do to help. Okay? Thank you.